तो दोस्तों आज के इस वीडियो में हम बात करने जा रहे हैं एक्सपेंडेबल 4 के बारे में, जो कि 2023 में हमें एक तरह से देखने को मिली थी। दोस्तों ये जो मूवी है 1 घंटा 43 मिनट टोटल इस मूवी की लेंथ है। और रेटिंग की बात की जाए तो IMDb पर इसकी रेटिंग अब तक जितने भी इस फ्रेंचाइजी में पार्ट है उन सभी से कम है। 4.8 की इसकी रेटिंग है। साथ ही साथ 14% में रेड टमाटोज की रेटिंग है। दोस्तों ये मूवी अब फ्लॉप हो चुकी है बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन के एक तरफ से देखा जाए तो। इस मूवी के बारे में आपको सारे कुछ जानकारी बताऊंगा, क्या कारण था ये मूवी एक तरह से डिसास्टर हो चुकी है। तो इसके बारे में आपको सारी कुछ डिटेल बताया कि वीडियो को लाइक कर दे, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दे। अब इसके बारे में अब हम जानना चालू करते हैं।
Expend4bles, also known as Expendables 4, is a 2023 American action comedy film that is the fourth installment in the Expendables franchise. Following the Expendables 3, 2014, the film stars an ensemble cast including Jason Statham, Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren and Randy Couture reprising their roles from previous films, with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Megan Fox, Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, Jacob Scipio, Levy Tran, and Andy García joining the cast. It is directed by Scott Waugh from a screenplay by Kurt Wimmer, Tad Daggerhart, and Max Adams, based on a story by Spenser Cohen, Wimmer, and Daggerhart. Expend4bles was released in mainland China on September 15, 2023, and in the United States a week later, by Lionsgate. The film received negative reviews from critics, who criticized the screenplay, plot, Stallone's limited screen time, direction, some of the new characters and visual effects, but praised some of the performances and action sequences. It has grossed $51 million worldwide against a budget of $100 million, making it a box office bomb. Plot: the Expendables are sent to Libya to prevent mercenary Suarto Rahmat from stealing nuclear warheads for a mysterious terrorist named Ocelot. The team is led by Barney Ross and formed by members Lee Christmas, Toll Road, and Gunnar Jensen, with new members Easy Day and Galen. However, they are incapacitated when all of their vehicles are destroyed in the ensuing fight. When Rahmat shoots their plane down, the team finds what appears to be Barney's burned corpse in the wreckage, identified solely by his ring. At Barney's memorial service, CIA operative Marsh reveals that the team will pursue Ocelot and Rahmat, but without Christmas, who jeopardized the mission trying to save Barney. He is replaced by Gina, his former lover, who also brings an operative named Lash into the team. The team travels to Asia, but is secretly tracked by Christmas, who had slipped Gina a tracking device earlier. Barney's apparent death opened a sealed file which states that there is an eyewitness that could identify Ocelot. Ocelot plans to provoke World War III by letting the nuclear warheads explode in the Russian Far East, transporting them on a ship disguised as an American aircraft carrier. As the Expendables and Marsh board the ship, they are ambushed and taken hostage. Marsh is taken away to negotiate a prisoner exchange for the eyewitness. Meanwhile, Christmas travels to Thailand to recruit former expendable Detcha, who has turned towards pacifism but agrees to bring him to the ship to avenge Barney. As Christmas fights his way through the ship, Detcha has a change of heart and helps him rescue the rest of the team. They launch an attack on Rahmat's forces, during which Christmas fights and kills him. However, Toll has been heavily wounded and needs immediate medical care. During the prisoner exchange, Marsh is revealed to be Ocelot, hoping to financially profit from igniting World War III. While the team leaves on Detcha's boat to save Toll, Christmas stays behind to turn the ship around to avoid a global conflict. He confronts Marsh, who is killed by Barney, who surprises everyone by revealing that he faked his death, hoping to lure Ocelot out of hiding. They escape the nuclear explosion and celebrate with the team. Cast. See also, List of the Expendables characters. Jason Statham as Lee Christmas, the team's knife expert and second in command. 5 as Stallone was looking to pass the franchise's lead on to Statham, he did about 80% of all filming, oversaw post-production, and served as a producer. 6. Sylvester Stallone as Barney Ross, the leader of the Expendables. Stallone confirmed that the film would be his final appearance as Barney Ross, with Statham expecting to take over the series after his departure. 7. Due to this, his role in the film was limited. 6. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Easy Day, a new member of the Expendables. 8. Megan Fox as Gina, a CIA operator and member of the Expendables as well as Christmas' former girlfriend. 8. Dolph Lundgren as Gunnar Jensen, a volatile member of the team, undone by years of combat stress. 5. Lundgren stated that his character has been sober for several years now and is on a philosophical soul search. 9. Tony J.A. as Decha Unai, a former member of the Expendables. Iko Uwais as Swato Ramat, a mercenary and the secondary antagonist working with Ocelot. 8-10. Randy Couture as Toll Road, the team's demolitions expert. 5. Jacob Scipio as Galen, a new member of the Expendables and son of former member Galgo. Originally, Antonio Banderas was slated to reprise his role as Galgo and his dialogue and character was rewritten into that of Galen when he turned out to be unavailable. 11. Levy Tran as Lash, a CIA operator and a new member of the Expendables. Andy García as Marshal Ocelot, a CIA agent and the main antagonist. 12. Additionally, Sheila Shah was cast as Mandy O'Dell, alongside Eddie Hall as a bouncer. 5-13. Production. Development. After The Expendables 3, 2014, underperformed at the box office, the future of the series was left in doubt. 14 and production stalled over several years. By November 2014, it was announced that the project is being developed with intent to retain its A rating like the first two films. 15 In December 2016, Sylvester Stallone announced that the fourth installment will be the final film in the series, while a scheduled tentative release date was set for 2018. 16 By March 2017, Stallone had left the project and the franchise, due to creative differences over the script and direction for continuing the franchise. 17 In January 2018, after vocal support from other cast members, including Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone announced his return to the series with a post to his social media platforms, confirming new developments on the fourth movie. 18. By August 2020, VRT Cine announced their involvement as a production studio on the movie, alongside Lionsgate and Millennium Films. They also revealed that Patrick Hughes will return to the series as director. 19 In November 2020, the president of Millennium Media, Jeffrey Greenstein, stated that the studio is continuing to work on The Expendables 4 after various delays within the industry worldwide due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 20 In August 2021, The Hollywood Reporter reported that Scott Waugh would be directing the film, replacing Hughes, as well as Statham serving as a producer of the film. 5 While Stallone confirmed his involvement with the project, and that The Expendables 4 was the same project as The Expendables, A Christmas Story, previously reported as a spin-off but in fact the film's working title during development. Stallone further stated that production was set to commence in October of that year. 21-22 According to Dolph Lundgren, the film had a budget of $100 million. 9. Writing. In July 2018, Gregory Poirier announced his role as screenwriter. 23 Production was tentatively scheduled to begin by April 2019, though it wasn't until July of that year that Stallone announced that he was continuing to work on the script for the project. 20 For the script was completed later that year, though negotiations with producers were ongoing. 25 In August 2021, it was announced that Spenser Cohen wrote the most recent draft of the script with Max Adams, from a story by Cohen. 5. Casting. Over the years, multiple actors reported interest or claimed they were approached to star in a fourth installment. In March 2014, Pierce Brosnan stated that he had agreed with producer Avi Lerner to star in a fourth installment. 26 By April of the same year, Sylvester Stallone revealed his first choice for the villain was Jack Nicholson, while mentioning his interest in convincing Clint Eastwood to join the production. 27-28 According to Jackie Chan, he was approached to star in the film by Stallone but was unsure about having limited screen time in an ensemble film, which is why he had turned down roles in the previous two entries. 29. Dwayne Johnson publicly expressed interest to play a villainous character in a new installment during a 2014 Q&A 30 and reiterated his interest to join the series in 2022. 31. In May 2015, Hulk Hogan claimed that he was in talks with Stallone to play the film's main villain. 14. In June 2020, Jean-Claude Van Damme expressed interest in returning to the franchise, publicly pitching his idea of playing Claude Villain, the brother to his villain character, Gene Villain, from the Expendables 2. 32. Despite discontent with how his character was handled in the Expendables 3, Arnold Schwarzenegger proclaimed he was interested in returning to the series if he liked the script. 33. However, on May 29, 2023, Schwarzenegger confirmed that he would not be returning to the franchise, citing a general disinterest. 34. While he was not included in the fourth movie, Callum Lutz proclaimed interest to return in a fifth installment in an Instagram post. 35. On the other hand, Terry Crews, who had starred in all previous films, refused to appear in any new entries after claiming he was sexually assaulted by Stallone's agent, Adam Venett, alleging he was pressured by producer Avi Lerner to drop the case if he wanted to stay in the series. 36. However, none of the actors mentioned above were subsequently cast, and the cast was announced to include returning stars Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Randy Couture, and Dolph Lundgren, while new cast members were revealed to be Eddie Hall, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, Megan Fox, Tony Jaa, Andy García, Sheila Shah, Jacob Scipio and Levy Tran. 513 with Iko Uwais playing the villain. 10. Filming. In August 2021, it was stated that principal photography would begin in October. 5. Filming officially commenced on September 29, 2021. 37:38 in October 2021, Stallone announced on social media that he had finished filming his scenes for the movie. 7. The film was shot in London and Bulgaria and the Jackie Chan stunt team handled stunt choreography. 39. In November 2021, production was shot in Greece, including the city of Thessaloniki. 40 members of the Greek armed forces were used as extras and alleged they were not compensated for their month-long official deployment, despite working overtime. 41. On December 3, 2021, Tony Jaa confirmed filming had wrapped. 42. Post-production. The film title had been retitled Expend4bles by June 2023, 43, 44, 45, a name that was widely ridiculed by commentators. When asked why they chose this title, producer Les Weldon stated that it had always been the filmmaker's desire while retaining the Expendables as brand identity. 51. Music. On April 26, 2023, Guillaume Roussel announced that he would be composing the film's score, replacing Brian Tyler from the previous 3 installments. 52. Track listing. No. Title length. 1. The New Squad 2, 1. 2. A Horrible Loss 2, 27. 3. Here We Go 1, 50. 4. Introducing Detcha 2, 12. 5. Marsh Runs the Show 2, 40. 6. Trouble Ahead 2, 14. 7. Bike, Explosions and Death 3, 13. 8. Battle on the Deck 2, 12. 9. The Final Duel 1, 41. 10. Finding Ocelot 1, 12. 11. Redemption 1, 57. 12. Expend4bles Main Theme 2, 43. Total length, 26, 22. 53. Release. Theatrical. Expend4bles was released in mainland China on September 15, 2023, and was theatrically released by Lionsgate Films on September 22, 2023. 50 for the film was originally scheduled to be released in 2022. 55. Home media. Expend4bles was released for digital platforms on October 13, 2023, followed by a Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K UHD release on November 21, 2023. 56-57. Marketing. In April 2022, the first standee posters for the film were unveiled at CinemaCon. 58. The first teaser trailer footage was released exclusively to the attendees at Lionsgate's presentation at the convention. 59-60. On June 6, 2023, the first poster for the film was released, with the first trailer releasing a day later. 61. A second trailer advertising the film's rating was released August 23, 2023. 62. Reception. Box office. As of November 5, 2023, Expend4bles has grossed $16.7 million in the United States and Canada, and $34.3 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $51 million. 3. In the United States and Canada, Expend4bles was initially projected to gross $15-17 million from 3,518 theaters in its opening weekend. 2. After making $3.1 million on its first day, including $750,000 from Thursday night previews, estimates were lowered, and it went on debut to $8 million, finishing second behind Holdover the Nun 2. 63. The film fell 69% to $2.5 million in its second weekend, finishing in 9th place. 64. In China, the film opened to $10.7 million, narrowly finishing first before a Chinese film. 65. Critical response. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 14% of 124 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 3.5 or 10. The website's consensus reads, "Solid work from Jason Statham and some halfway decent set pieces aren't enough to make up for Expend4bles' lackluster action and cheap-looking effects." 66. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 30 out of 100, based on 33 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. 67-68 audiences surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B on an A+ to F scale, the lowest of the series, while those polled at PostTrack gave it a 64% overall positive score. 63. Owen Gleiberman, writing for Variety, said, "This is true 21st century trash, a movie in which the action itself is expendable." 69. Referencing the poor CGI effects, Collider wrote that Expend4bles was often resembling more of a mobile game than a movie. 70. Several reviewers compared it to Hidden Strike, another film by Waugh with similarly bad CGI. 70-71. Simon Thompson of IGN voiced similar complaints, stating, "The special effects look either unfinished or just so bad that it's sad, like they were ripped from the graphics package of a mid to low budget video game from the early 2000s. 72. The acting, plot, dialogue, and violence were criticized by various reviewers. Thompson called the clunky and uninspired dialogue awful, concluding that the film was overall a crushing disappointment that lacks any of the nostalgia, charisma, and charm that made the franchise appealing. 72. Todd McCarthy of Deadline criticized that the movie was lazily executed, feeling that especially the final battle was an exact copy of Meg 2, another 2023 action film starring Statham. 73. Furthermore, multiple reviews criticized the overall weak cast in comparison to its predecessors, with many noting that the movie hardly retains the franchise's original selling point of featuring an all-star cast of action legends. 70-71. A review in Paste noted that Statham opts to accept a promotion to series lead but added refashioning the Expendables into a Statham star vehicle only highlights the wrong kind of expendability from many of his long-time co-stars. Why can't we just watch our man kick ass on his own or in various duos? 75. An otherwise negative review at a film conceded however that the film might be the best of the franchise. 76. While a review from Digital Spy stated while the sense of cheesy throwback fun is restored in both the gleefully violent action and the script, it's absolutely not enough to save a movie that is 2/3 boring, but it does at least elevate the Expendables for above the irredeemable third movie. You'll be left on such an adrenaline high that you wouldn't be surprised if, like the aforementioned STI, the Expendables will be back for another round. 71. Accolades. Award of Film Festival. Date of ceremony. Category recipient, S. Result ref. Golden Raspberry Awards March 9, 2024. Worst Picture Expend4bles pending 77. Worst Director Scott Waugh pending. Worst Supporting Actress Megan Fox pending. Worst Supporting Actor Sylvester Stallone pending. Worst Screen Couple Any Two Merciless Mercenaries pending. Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel Expend4bles pending. Worst Screenplay. David Elias Callaham, born October 24, 1977, is an American screenwriter and producer. Life. Callaham was born in Fresno, California, on October 24, 1977, to Lee Hsu and Michael Callaham. He has a brother, Gregory. 2. He is of Chinese descent through his mother. 3. He studied English at the University of Michigan and graduated in 1999. 5. 6. In 2009, Callaham married Bree Tichy. 7. They have at least one child. 8. He is a brown belt in 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu under Eddie Bravo. 9. Career. After reading an article in Penthouse magazine focusing on the lifestyle of Hollywood TV writers, Callaham and a friend moved to Los Angeles with plans to write comedies together. They sent query letters to multiple agencies but never received responses. Callaham worked at Creative Artists Agency for a while, sometimes submitting his material secretly for coverage. 10. In 2003, Callaham wrote the film adaptation to the video game Doom and submitted it in the summer of 2005. Around that time, Callaham wrote Barrow for Warner Bros., a mercenary-inspired action script which later became The Expendables. Callaham was credited for story and characters after Sylvester Stallone used Callaham's Barrow script as a starting point for The Expendables. 11. In 2010, Legendary Pictures hired Callaham to write the first draft for Godzilla, for which he received a story credit. Jason Statham, STEM or Stay-THM, born 26 July 1967, is an English actor. He is known for portraying characters in various action thriller films who are typically tough, gritty, or violent. Statham has been credited for leading the resurgence of action films during the 2000s and 2010s. His film career through 2017 generated over $1.5 billion, £1.1 billion, in ticket sales, making him one of the film industry's most bankable stars. 2-3. Statham began practicing Chinese martial arts, kickboxing, and karate recreationally in his youth while working at local market stalls. An avid footballer and diver, he was a member of Britain's national diving team and competed for England in the 1990 Commonwealth Games. Shortly after, he was asked to model for French Connection, Tommy Hilfiger, and Levi's in various advertising campaigns. His past history working at market stalls inspired his casting in the Guy Ritchie crime films Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998, and Snatch, 2000. The commercial success of these films led Statham to star as Frank Martin in the Transporter trilogy, 2002-2008. After starring in a variety of heist and action thriller films such as The Italian Job, 2003, Crank, 2006, War, 2007, The Bank Job, 2008, The Mechanic, 2011, Spy, 2015, and Mechanic, Resurrection, 2016, he established himself as a Hollywood leading man. However, he has also starred in commercially and critically unsuccessful films such as Revolver, 2005, Chaos, 2005, In the Name of the King, 2007, 13, 2010, Blitz, 2011, Killer Elite, 2011, Hummingbird, 2013, and Wild Card, 2015. He regained commercial success as a part of the ensemble action series The Expendables, 2010-2014, and the Fast and Furious franchise, playing Deckard Shaw in several films, including the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw, 2019. Early life. Jason Statham was born on 26 July 1967 in Shirebrook, Derbyshire, For 5 the son of dancer Eileen, Annie Yates, and street seller Barry Statham. 6 his father also worked odd jobs as a house painter, coal miner, and singer in the Canary Islands. 7 Statham moved to Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, where he initially chose not to follow his father's career working the local market stalls, instead practicing martial arts. He grew up with football player Vinnie Jones, alongside whom he would later act. Jones introduced him to football, and Statham went on to play for the local grammar school, 1978-1983, which he had attended since age 11, a passion that he shared with diving. 8 he practiced daily in perfecting his diving techniques, and was a member of Britain's national swimming squad for 12 years. 9-10 he competed for England at the 1990 Commonwealth Games in the 10-metre, 3-metre, and 1-metre competitions. 11 he said in a 2003 interview with IGN that his time with the national squad was a great experience and one that teaches you discipline, focus, and certainly keeps you out of trouble. 12. Statham's life in the media began when he was spotted by the agency Sports Promotions specializing in sports modeling while he was training at London's Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. He was also signed by Tommy Hilfiger, Griffin, and Levi's for various modeling contracts during their 1996 spring or summer collections. 13 in 1997, he became a model for the clothing brand French Connection. A spokesperson for the high street clothing chain said, "We chose Jason because we wanted our model to look like a normal guy. His look is just right for now, very masculine and not too male model-y." 5 However, he was still forced to follow in his father's footsteps as a street seller to make ends meet, stating that he sold fake perfume and jewelry on street corners. 7-14 he made small appearances in a few music videos, including Coming On by the Shaman in 1993, Run to the Sun by Erasure in 1994, 15 and Dream a Little Dream of Me by the Beautiful South in 1995. 16-17. Career. 2000-2010, rise to prominence. Statham in 2007. While working as a model for French Connection, he was introduced to fledgling British director Guy Ritchie 18 who was developing a film project and needed to fill the role of a streetwise con artist. After learning about Statham's past as a black market salesman, Ritchie cast him to play the role of Bacon in his 1998 crime comedy thriller Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. 19 The movie was well received by both critics and audiences, and helped put Statham in the public eye. For his role in the film he was paid UK £5,000. 7 Statham's second collaboration with Ritchie came in the 2000 film Snatch, playing the role of Turkish. Cast alongside popular actors Brad Pitt, Dennis Farina, and Benicio del Toro, the movie earned more than $80 million in box office revenue. For his role in Snatch, he was paid UK £15,000, 3 times the amount of his first film. 7 Statham was able to break into Hollywood and appeared in 2 movies in 2001, the science fiction action horror film Ghosts of Mars and the science fiction martial arts action film The One. Statham was offered more film roles, and in 2002 he was cast as the lead role of driver Frank Martin in the action movie The Transporter, written by Luc Besson. He has studied Wing Chun, karate, and kickboxing. 20 The film spawned 2 sequels, Transporter 2, 2005, and Transporter 3, 2008. He also played supporting roles in Mean Machine, 2002, The Italian Job, 2003, 21 and Cellular, 2004, in which he played the lead villain. In 2005, Statham was once again cast by Ritchie to star in his new project, Revolver, which was a critical and box office failure. 22 He played a dramatic role in the independent film London in 2006. That same year he played the lead role in the action film Crank. Statham was asked to promote Crank during the 2006 San Diego Comic-Con convention. 23 In 2008, Statham starred in the British crime thriller The Bank Job and Death Race, a remake of Death Race 2000, 1975. American film critic Armand White hailed Statham's ascension as an action film star. On the occasion of Death Race, White championed Statham's best track record of any contemporary movie star. 24 later in 2008, White praised Statham's Transporter 3 as a great example of kinetic pop art. Chris Hewitt of Empire magazine noted the film as a dour, drab affair, but credited the film with establishing Statham as a new action hero, as at ease with gruff one-liners as he was with Jackie Chan-esque high-kicking. 25. In 2009, Statham started to develop a new movie written by David Peoples and Janet Peoples. Statham stated, "We've got a movie we're trying to do, written by David Peoples and Janet Peoples, in the vein of an old film, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. It's not a remake or anything, but it's a little bit like that, about relationships and how greed contaminates the relationships these three people have." The working title is The Grabbers. 26. He reprised his role as Chef Cheerios in the 2009 sequel Crank, High Voltage. 27. In 2010, Statham appeared alongside fellow action stars Sylvester Stallone, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren and Mickey Rourke, among others, in the ensemble action film The Expendables. Statham plays Lee Christmas, a former SAS soldier and expert at close-quarters combat using knives. 28. The film was commercially successful, opening at number 1 at the box office in the United States, the United Kingdom, China and India, and grossed a total of $274 million worldwide. 2011-2015, commercial expansion. Statham at the French premiere of The Expendables 2 in 2012. In his first film of 2011, Statham starred in the remake of the 1972 Charles Bronson film The Mechanic as Arthur Bishop. A theatrical trailer depicting Statham's character shooting a man's head off was banned from circulation by the Advertising Standards Authority for showing excessive violence. 29. His role in The Mechanic was positively reviewed by the critics both in the United States and the United Kingdom. The Guardian praised his performance as possessing a now customary efficiency in attaining an entertaining hitman thriller. 30. The New York Times noted Statham as sleek as a bullet, and the film a more powerful recharge of the original. 31. UK newspaper, The Daily Telegraph hailed Statham as England's best export to action movies in just about forever, a businesslike brute with gentlemanly soul. 32. He returned to British film by starring in the police drama Blitz as Detective Sergeant Tom Brandt. The film received mixed reviews, with Kath Clake of The Guardian reviewing it as not half bad and oddly entertaining. 33. He was then cast in the action film Killer Elite. The film was based on real events, which were the subject of Sir Ranulph Fiennes' novel The Feather Men. Statham played an assassin named Danny who comes out of retirement to save an old friend, played by Robert De Niro. 30. For the film returned a negative budget, and was panned by the critics. 35. In August 2011, he began filming Parker for director Taylor Hackford. The film was released in January 2013. Statham played Parker, the criminal anti-hero previously played by Mel Gibson in 1999's Payback and by Lee Marvin in 1967's Point Blank, though their characters were given different surnames. 36. A.O. Scott of the New York Times said of the actor in the film, Statham, who seems to be made entirely of muscle and scar tissue, is comfortable with his limitations as an actor. His Parker, in any case, is more of an axiom than a fully rounded human being. 37. A 2012 BBC News report estimated that his 10-year film career to date, 2002 to 2012, yielded over $1 billion in the box office, making him one of the industry's most bankable stars. 3. He was signed on to reprise his role as Lee Christmas in The Expendables 2 in 2012. 38. Statham, Center, at the 2014 Cannes Film Festival. In 2013, Statham had a cameo appearance at the end of Fast and Furious 6 as the brother of the film's antagonist Owen Shaw, Luke Evans. 39. He reprised the character, this time as the main antagonist, in Furious 7, which was released in April 2015. 40. 41. 42. He also starred opposite James Franco in the thriller Homefront, written by Sylvester Stallone. 43. And headlined the British thriller Hummingbird. The latter film was praised by critics for pushing Statham's acting abilities to new heights. His attempt to develop his brand by trying more adventurous parts, noted by The Guardian's Mark Kermode, broadened his dramatic palette. 40 for 45 Statham made a cameo in the 2014 music video Summer of Calvin Harris as one of the car racers. In 2014, he returned as Lee Christmas in The Expendables 3. Although critically panned, 46 the film would go on to gross $215 million against a $90 million budget. 47. In 2015 he starred in the action comedy Spy alongside Melissa McCarthy, Jude Law, and Rose Byrne. The film, a commercial success, was particularly praised for showcasing Statham's comedic side in contrast to his more serious roles. 48, 49, 50, 51 According to an article by Empire magazine, A Spy 2 was development in late 2015, with more screen time dedicated for Statham's character, Rick Ford. 52 He was nominated for the Critics' Choice Award for Best Actor in a Comedy for his role in Spy. 53. Statham was offered a 3-film contract to reboot the Transporter series in late 2015, but turned it down because he was not given the script before the signing date and unhappy with its compensation package. 50 for 55 According to an article by The Guardian, Statham expressed interest in playing James Bond in the upcoming Spectre film. Its author, Steve Rose, noted that there was no doubt Statham can walk the Bond walk. And talking his talk can hardly be an issue with a character whose accent has fluctuated between Sean Connery's Scottish brogue and Timothy Dalton's Welsh. 56 After the interview there were multiple calls from critics and the public to instate him as James Bond in a future film. 57, 58, 59. 2016 Present, continued success. The sequel to his 2011 film The Mechanic was scheduled for production in late 2016 and announced to open as Mechanic, Resurrection. The film went on to become highly commercially successfully in international film markets, grossing $109.4 million worldwide. 60 According to Forbes, the film was Statham's 7th biggest earner and most commercially successful solo film venture of his career. 60. In February 2017, he starred alongside Gal Gadot in a 30-second Super Bowl advertisement for Wix.com during Super Bowl 51. 61 CNET reported that the advertisement reached 22 million user impressions. 62 Statham was asked to rejoin the Fast and Furious franchise once more in 2016. The ensuing film, The Fate of the Furious, was released in April 2017 to commercial success. While the film overall received mixed reviews, Statham was praised for his comedic timing and on-screen chemistry with contemporaries. 63, 64, 65 The film went on to be the 3rd highest grossing film of 2017 and the 12th highest grossing film of all time. 66, 67. Spy 2 was confirmed on 15 February 2018. 68, 69 But later in 2018, Fake explained that although a sequel to Spy could still happen, there hasn't been any interest from the studio in the project. 70, 71. Statham played the lead, former naval captain Jonas Taylor, in the 2018 action horror film The Meg, which was released on 10 August. The film would go on to gross $527.8 million worldwide, becoming the highest-grossing U.S. Chinese co-production of all time. 72. In 2019, Statham reprised his role as Deckard Shaw again in Fast and Furious Presents, Hobbs and Shaw, a spin-off of the Fast and Furious franchise focusing on his and Dwayne Johnson's characters. 73.70 For the film grossed $758 million worldwide, becoming the 10th highest grossing film of 2019, and received generally positive reviews from critics, with praise for Statham's performance. 75. Public image. An article by Adam Gabbett in The Guardian noted that Statham's character contributions to his industry and film niche are tough and uncompromising. 76-77 Some critics note his presence as a defining feature that signals to moviegoers the content of a film. 78 The same expos commented, "You know what you're getting with a Jason Statham film. He will beat people up. He will crash cars. He will do an unconvincing American accent." 76 Statham's impact on the action thriller genre has been seen by Gabbett as a replacement of the same undertaken by Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, and Jean-Claude Van Damme during their runs as headliners throughout the 1980s and 1990s. 76 Statham himself cites Stallone, Bruce Lee, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, and Clint Eastwood as his inspirations. 79. An article by Times Higher Education reported that Manchester University Press commissioned an academic study analysing the impact Statham has had on the British and American film industries from his debut in 1998 to 2018. According to the article, Professors Stephen Gerrard and Robert Shale are looking to show the changing face of British cinematic masculinity into one that embraces cinema across a wide range of projects, but one that also uses cross-textual media in his output. 2. In popular media. In 2003, Statham appeared in 3 British television commercials for the Kit Kat chocolate bar. Described as a break philosopher, he philosophized about salmon swimming upstream, a Mexican fisherman, and the relative speeds and ages of animals, before ending with a reminder that taking a break, alluding to the Kit Kat slogan, is an important part of life. Citation needed. In the comic book series Ultimate Spider-Man, that series version of the villain Vulture was rendered by artist Mark Bagley to resemble actor Statham, as per writer Brian Michael Bendy's instructions. 80. In the 21 Pilots song Pet Cheetah released in 2018, Statham is mentioned in the lyrics. 81. Personal life. Statham has been in a relationship with model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley since 2010. 82. The couple announced their engagement in January 2016. 83. Their son was born in June 2017. 84. Their daughter was born on 2 February 2022. 85. They reside in Beverly Hills, California. 86. Statham enjoys wakeboarding, jet skiing, windsurfing, and rock climbing. 79. While filming on location in Varna, Bulgaria, for the Expendables 3, he drove a truck off the road into the Black Sea due to malfunctioning brakes. 65. 87. In a 2013 interview with Vanity Fair, he advocated for stunt performers to be given their own Academy Award category. All of the stunt men, these are the unsung heroes. They really are. Nobody is giving them any credibility. They are risking their necks. And then you've got Ponzi actors pretending like they're doing the stunts. 78. In 2014, Statham was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. 88. Sylvester Stallone, Stallone, born July 6, 1946, is an American actor and filmmaker. He has received numerous accolades, including a Golden Globe Award, as well as nominations for 3 Academy Awards and 2 BAFTA Awards. Stallone is one of only 2 actors in history, alongside Harrison Ford, to have starred in a box office #1 film across 6 consecutive decades. 3. Struggling as an actor for a number of years upon moving to New York City in 1969, Stallone found gradual work in films such as The Lords of Flatbush, 1974. He achieved his greatest critical and commercial success starting in 1976 with his iconic role as boxer Rocky Balboa in the first film of the successful Rocky franchise, which he also wrote. For in 1977, he became the 3rd actor in history to be nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Screenplay and Best Actor. He portrayed the PTSD-plagued soldier John Rambo in First Blood, 1982, a role he would play across 5 Rambo films, 1982-2019. From the mid-1980s to the late 1990s, Stallone would go on to become one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, acting in action films such as Cobra, 1986, Tango and Cash, 1989, Cliffhanger, 1993, Demolition Man, 1993, and The Specialist, 1994. Stallone continued his established roles in Rocky Balboa, 2006, and Rambo, 2008, before launching the Expendables film franchise, 2010-present, in which he starred as the mercenary Barney Ross. In 2013, he starred in the successful film Escape Plan and appeared in its sequels. In 2015, he returned to Rocky again with Creed, in which a retired Rocky mentors former rival Apollo Creed's son Donnie Creed. The film brought Stallone widespread praise and his first Golden Globe Award, as well as a third Academy Award nomination, having been first nominated for the same role 40 years prior. Since 2022, he has starred in the Paramount Plus crime series Tulsa King. Early life and education. Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone 5'6" was born in the Hell's Kitchen neighborhood of New York City's Manhattan Borough 8 on July 6, 1946. 9. The elder son of women's professional wrestling promoter Jacqueline "Jackie" Stallone, Annie Labofish, 1921-2020, and hairdresser Francesco Frank Stallone Sr. 1919-2011. 10. His mother was an American from Washington, D.C. with Breton French 11 and Ukrainian Jewish ancestry, 12, 13, 14, while his father was an Italian immigrant from Gioia del Colle 10 who moved to the U.S. in the 1930s, 15, 16. His younger brother is actor and musician Frank Stallone. 10. Many biographies of Stallone indicate that his birth name is Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone, and his mother explained in an interview that she originally named him Tyrone because she admired the actor Tyrone Power, but Stallone's father changed it to Sylvester. His nickname as a child was Binky, but he chose to go by the nickname of Mike or Michael after schoolmates began calling him Stinky. 5, 6, 7. His middle name Gardenzio is an alteration of the Italian given name Gaudenzio, and he usually shortened it to Enzio. 1. Complications during Stallone's birth forced his mother's obstetricians to use 2 pairs of forceps while delivering him, accidentally severing a nerve in the process. 17, 18. This caused paralysis of the lower left side of his face, including parts of his lip, tongue, and chin, which gave him his signature snarling look and slurred speech. 18, 19. As a result, he was bullied in his childhood, with which he coped by getting into bodybuilding and acting. 20. He spent part of his infancy in foster and boarding care, rejoining and moving back with his family to Maryland when he was 5. In the early 1950s, his father moved the family to his mother's native Washington, D.C., to open a beauty school. In 1954, his mother opened a women's gym called Barbella's. 21-22. He initially stayed with his father following his parents' divorce when he was 11, but joined his remarried mother in Philadelphia when he was 15. 23. Stallone attended Notre Dame Academy and Abraham Lincoln High School in Philadelphia, 24, and Charlotte Hall Military Academy in Charlotte Hall, Maryland, prior to attending Miami-Dade College. 25. He spent 2 years, from September 1965 to June 1967, at the American College of Switzerland. He returned to the United States to study as a drama major at the University of Miami, from 1967 to 1969. 26. After Stallone's request that his acting and life experiences be accepted in exchange for his remaining needed college credits to graduate, he was granted a Bachelor of Fine Arts, BFA, degree by the University of Miami in 1998. 27-28. Film and stage career. 1968-1976, early roles to breakthrough. Until 1969, he appeared on the stage under the name Mike Stallone. In 1970, he started using the stage name Sylvester E. Stallone. While attending the University of Miami, Stallone had a role in the drama That Nice Boy, aka The Square Root, filmed in 1968. 29-30-31. Moreover, he and John Hersfeld worked together in 1969 on a low-budget self-produced film called Horses. 32. Stallone had his first starring role in the softcore pornography feature film The Party at Kitty and Studs, 1970. He was paid $200 for 2 days' work. 33. Stallone later explained that he had done the film out of desperation after being evicted from his apartment and finding himself homeless for several days. He has also said that he slept 3 weeks in the Port Authority bus terminal in New York City prior to seeing a casting notice for the film. In the actor's words, "It was either do that movie or rob someone, because I was at the very end of my rope." 30. For the film was released several years later as Italian Stallion. In order to cash in on Stallone's newfound fame, the new title was taken from Stallone's nickname since Rocky. Stallone also starred in the erotic off-Broadway stage play Score, which ran for 23 performances at the Martinique Theatre from October 28 to November 15, 1971, and was later made into the 1974 film Score by Radley Metzger. 35. After moving to New York City, Stallone shared an apartment with his girlfriend, Sasha Chak, an aspiring actress who supported them by working as a waitress. 36. Stallone took odd jobs around this time, including being a cleaner at a zoo and a theater usher. He was fired from the latter for scalping tickets. He furthered his writing skills by frequenting a local library and became interested in the works of Edgar Allan Poe. 37. In 1972, Stallone was on the verge of giving up on having an acting career. In what he later described as a low point, he tried and failed to get a job as an extra in The Godfather. 38-39. Instead, he was relegated to a background role in another Hollywood hit, What's Up, Doc? Starring Barbra Streisand. Stallone is hardly visible in his two appearances. Stallone happened to be acting in a play that a friend invited him to partake in, and an agent in attendance thought that Stallone fit the role of Stanley, a main character in The Lords of Flatbush, which had a start-stop schedule from 1972 to 1974 over budget issues. 40. Stallone, around mid-1973, achieved his first proper starring role, in the independent film No Place to Hide, playing a man who is associated with a New York-based urban terrorist movement, with a jewelry seller as his love interest. The film was recut and retitled Rebel years later, this second version featuring Stallone as its star. In 1990, this film was re-edited with outtakes from the original film and newly shot matching footage, then redubbed in the style of Woody Allen's What's Up, Tiger Lily? Into a parody of itself titled A Man Called Rainbow. Stallone's other first few film roles were minor, and included brief uncredited appearances in MASH, 1970, as a soldier sitting at a table, Pigeons, 1970, as a party guest, Woody Allen's Bananas, 1971, as a subway thug, in the psychological thriller Clute, 1971, as an extra dancing in a club, and in the Jack Lemmon film The Prisoner of Second Avenue, 1975, as a youth. In the latter film, Jack Lemmon's character chases, tackles, and mugs Stallone, thinking that Stallone's character is a pickpocket. He had his second starring role in 1974, in The Lords of Flatbush. 18. In 1975, he played supporting roles in Farewell, My Lovely, Capone, and Death Race 2000. He made guest appearances on the TV series Police Story and Kojak. He is also supposedly in Mandingo. It is often said that his scene was deleted. 41. Stallone gained worldwide fame with his starring role in the smash hit Rocky, 1976, a sports drama about a struggling boxer, Rocky Balboa, taking on heavyweight champion Apollo Creed. 18. On March 24, 1975, Stallone saw the Muhammad Ali vs. Chuck Wepner fight. That night Stallone went home, and after 3 days he had completed the first draft of Rocky. 42. Stallone subsequently denied that Wepner provided any inspiration for the script. However, Wepner filed a lawsuit which was eventually settled with Stallone for an undisclosed amount. 43. 44 other possible inspirations for the film may have included Rocky Graziano's autobiography Somebody Up There Likes Me, and the film of the same name. Stallone attempted to sell the script to multiple studios, with the intention of playing the lead role himself. Erwin Winkler and Robert Chartoff became interested and offered Stallone $350,000 for the rights, but they had their own casting ideas for the lead role, including Robert Redford and Burt Reynolds. Stallone refused to sell unless he played the lead character and, eventually, after a substantial budget cut to compromise, it was agreed he could be the star. 45. Upon its release, critic Roger Ebert stated that Stallone could become the next Marlon Brando. In 1977, at the 49th Academy Awards, Rocky was nominated for 10 Oscars, including Best Actor and Best Original Screenplay nominations for Stallone. The film went on to win the Academy Awards for Best Picture, Best Directing, and Best Film Editing. Rocky has since been inducted into the National Film Registry and had its props placed in the Smithsonian Museum. Stallone's use of the front entrance to the Philadelphia Museum of Art in the Rocky series led the area to be nicknamed the Rocky Steps, and the city has a statue of the Rocky character placed permanently near the museum. The character was also voted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. 1978-1999, subsequent success. Stallone at the Ken Norton vs. Dwayne Bobbitt boxing match in 1977. Stallone made his directorial debut and starred in the 1978 film Paradise Alley, a family drama in which he played one of three brothers who get involved in professional wrestling. That same year, he starred in Norman Jewison's F.I.S.T., a social drama in which he plays a warehouse worker, very loosely modeled on James Hoffa, who becomes involved in labor union leadership. In 1979, he wrote, starred, and directed, replacing John G. Avildsen, in Rocky II. The sequel became a major success, grossing $200 million. In 1981, he starred alongside Michael Caine and soccer star Pal in Escape to Victory, a sports drama in which he plays a prisoner of war involved in a Nazi propaganda soccer game. That same year, he starred in the thriller Nighthawks, in which he plays a New York City cop who plays a cat-and-mouse game with a foreign terrorist, played by Rutger Hauer. In 1982, Stallone starred as Vietnam veteran John Rambo, a former Green Beret, in the action film First Blood, an adaptation of the eponymous novel by David Morrell, though the script was significantly altered by Stallone during the film's production, 46, which was both a critical and box office success. Critics praised Stallone's performance, saying he made Rambo seem human, as opposed to the way he is portrayed in the book of the same name. It launched the Rambo franchise. That year Rocky III was released, in which Stallone wrote, directed, and starred. The second sequel became a box office success. In preparation for these roles, Stallone embarked upon a vigorous training regimen, which often meant 6 days a week in the gym and further sit-ups in the evenings. Stallone claims to have reduced his body fat percentage to his all-time low of 2.8% for Rocky III. 47. In 1983, he directed Staying Alive, the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta. This was the only film Stallone directed that he did not star in. Staying Alive was universally panned by film critics. 48. Despite being a critical failure, Staying Alive was a commercial success. The film opened with the biggest weekend for a musical film ever, at the time, with a gross of $12,146,143 from 1660 screens. 49.50 overall, the film grossed nearly $65 million in the US box office against its $22 million budget. Worldwide it grossed $127 million. 51. Though the US box office intake was significantly less than the $139.5 million 52 earned by Saturday Night Fever, the film nevertheless ranked in the top 10 most financially successful films of 1983. During the 1980s, Stallone was considered one of the biggest action film stars in the world, 53, along with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Schwarzenegger-Stallone rivalry continued for years, 50, for they attacked each other in the press, and tried to surpass the other with more on-screen killings and larger weapons. 53. Stallone occasionally attempted, albeit unsuccessfully, roles in different genres. In 1984, he co-wrote and starred alongside Dolly Parton in the comedy film Rhinestone, where he played a wannabe country music singer. For the Rhinestone soundtrack, he performed a song. Stallone turned down the lead male role in Romancing the Stone in order to make Rhinestone instead, a decision he later regretted. 55. In 1985, Stallone continued his success with the Rocky and Rambo franchises with Rocky IV and Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Stallone has portrayed these two characters in a total of 13 films. Stallone met former Mr. Olympia Franco Columbu to develop his character's appearance for the film's Rocky IV, just as if he were preparing for the Mr. Olympia competition. That meant 2 workouts a day, 6 days a week. 56. Both films were major financial successes. Stallone as John Rambo in Rambo 3, 1988. It was around 1985 that Stallone was signed to a remake of the 1939 James Cagney classic Angels with Dirty Faces. The film would form part of his multi-picture deal with Cannon Films and was to co-star Christopher Reeve and be directed by Menahem Golan. The remaking of such a beloved classic was met with disapproval by Variety and horror by top critic Roger Ebert. Cannon opted to make the action film Cobra, which was released in 1986 and became a box office success. It led to the setting up of his production company White Eagle Enterprises. 57. In 1987, he starred in the family drama Over the Top as a struggling trucker who tries to make amends with his estranged son and enters an arm wrestling competition. This was poorly received by critics and was a box office failure. 58. In 1989, he co-starred alongside Kurt Russell in the buddy cop action film Tango and Cash, which did solid business domestically and overseas, grossing $57 million in foreign markets and over $120 million worldwide. 59. Stallone became a boxing promoter in the 1980s. His boxing promoting company, Tiger Eye Productions, signed world champion boxers Sean O'Grady and Aaron Pryor. 60. Stallone began the 1990s starring in the fifth installment of the Rocky franchise, Rocky V. This film brought back the first film's director, John G. Avildsen, and was intended to be the final installment in the series. It was considered a box office disappointment and received negative reviews. 61. Stallone next appeared in John Landis' period comedy Oscar, which was both a critical and box office failure. 62. In 1992, he appeared in Roger Spottiswood's action comedy Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot. 63, which was also both a critical and box office disaster. Stallone signed onto the film based on rumors that Schwarzenegger was interested in the lead. Schwarzenegger said that, knowing the script's quality was poor, he publicly faked interest in starring for producers to lure Stallone. 53. In 1993, he made a comeback with Rennie Harlin's action thriller Cliffhanger, 64, which was a success in the US, grossing $84 million, and worldwide, grossing $171 million. 65. Later that year, he starred in the futuristic action film Demolition Man directed by Marco Brambilla, co-starring Wesley Snipes and Sandra Bullock. 66. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 60% based on 42 reviews, with an average rating of 5.43 or 10. The site's consensus reads, a better-than-average sci-fi shoot-'em-up with a satirical undercurrent, Demolition Man is bolstered by strong performances by Stallone, Snipes, and Bullock. 67. The film debuted at number 1 at the box office. 68. 69. 70. Demolition Man grossed $58,055,768 by the end of its box office run in North America and $159,055,768 worldwide. 71. His string of hits continued with 1994's The Specialist, co-starring Sharon Stone and directed by Louis Losa, which opened in the U.S. on October 7. 72. While the critical reception was overwhelmingly negative, 73. The film was a commercial success. 74. In its opening weekend it made $14,317,765 and ended up making back its budget with $57,362,582 at the domestic box office while making another $113 million overseas, giving it a worldwide gross of $170,362,582. 75. Stallone at the 1993 Cannes Film Festival. In 1995, he played the title character, from the British comic book 2000 AD, in the science fiction action film Judge Dredd. His overseas box office appeal saved the domestic box office disappointment of Judge Dredd, which cost almost $100 million and barely made its budget back, with a worldwide tally of $113 million.
दोस्तों इस मूवी की रिलीजिंग डेट के बारे में बात की जाए तो ये 15 सितंबर 2024 को एक तरह से सॉरी दोस्तों 23 को ही हमें एक तरह से चाइना के अंदर देखने को मिली थी, और इसके बाद ये 22 सितंबर 2023 को यूनाइटेड स्टेट के साथ साथ इंडिया के अंदर भी इसे फुल्ली लॉन्च कर दिया गया था और बहुत बड़े स्केल पर इसे रिलीज़ किया गया था। और यूनाइटेड स्टेट में इसे बनाया गया था, तो मेन बेस लैंग्वेज इसकी इंग्लिश थी। बाकी इंडिया के अंदर भी इसे हिंदी के अंदर डब कर रिलीज़ किया गया था। बाकी इसकी एक तरह से बजट के बारे में बात की जाए तो $100 मिलियन इस टोटल मूवी का बजट था, और इसने जो बॉक्स ऑफिस कलेक्शन एक तरह से रिकवर किया है तकरीबन $55 मिलियन का, जो कि बहुत एक तरह से कम है और आधे से ज़्यादा घाटे में मेकर्स गए हैं। बाकी OTT राइट्स इसके बारे में बात की जाए तो अभी तक फिक्स नहीं की गए। बाकी कोई अपडेट आती है तो मैं आपको बता दूंगा। इसके बारे में मैंने आपको सारी कुछ जानकारी बता दी है। तो आज की वीडियो आपको कैसी लगी, वीडियो को लाइक कीजिएगा, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करके बेल आइकन दबा कर उसे ऑल पर सेट कर लीजिएगा। आज की इस वीडियो में इतना ही, मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में।